So, you know what we're going to do? Be in favor. Be in favor. Hogs by 9.
No good. Bye. 90. Get the buzzer. It does it. Now, entering Natty State Studio, the sports media palace of Mid-America, the Wolf of Center Street. Here's your host, John Nabors.
And welcome into the John Nabors Show here live from Natty State Sports Studios. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I am your host, John Nabors, and appreciate, as always, you making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It is a Friday show, folks. It's finally Friday, and I know that everyone's excited to see where this weekend's going to take you. And we'll have some discussions about that too. But for those of you Razorback fans that are actually watching right now, Razorback baseball is going on currently, which is kind of cool. They did move up the game from 3 p.m. to 2 p.m., I guess because of weather-related issues or whatever is going on. But luckily here at Natty State Sports Studios, we have the technology to be able to watch the games as well as broadcast this show. And here we are with a game that's been pretty interesting so far, but still nonetheless let's go ahead and bring in the guys because you don't want to hear me rant about anything more than what we already got to get to, because here in studio, of course, we have Curtis Wilkerson and Scottie Borderland, which, guys, we can't show the official Razorback baseball game here on the stream, but we can commentate our thoughts as we're watching the game in real time. We can at least do that.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
James Madison has a pitcher on the mound now with what appears to be goggles, so they're getting serious.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he looks like a kind of a dirty country band lead singer type of vibe.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking the same thing, too.
See multiple guys with Fu Manchus.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who may not be able to be watching or listening or whatever it may be, Arkansas does have a 6-4 lead over James Madison. It's the bottom of the 7th with a 2-1 count here. No outs. Arkansas's up to bat, but did not start the way I don't think anybody really was hoping for. Hagen Smith, preseason All-American, man, goes out there and throws 46 pitches in the first inning, gave up
a tater.
Was it a walk and then a hit by pitch and then an absolute slam right there? Wasn't a grand slam, but just a moonshot, and 3-0. Arkansas's down in the early inning. Luckily, they've been able to retake the lead and keep it ever since that point, but not to freak out, but man, that was just kind of like, oh gosh, are we really going to do this? We're dead set on doing this in the beginning of the game.
You think Hagen did that on purpose? He's like, I know how fragile this fan base is right now. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that's.
We'll win this game anyway, but I'm just gonna let it get a little bit crazy here for a minute. But
it was all grand of their plan.
I wonder about it, and if you think about their practice schedule, like every time Hagen's been on the mound, it's been nice outside, or it's been nasty outside and he's been inside throwing. Like, he probably couldn't feel his hand in the first inning. You know, you go out there and the wind was blowing like crazy, and it's gone from 70 degrees yesterday to I don't know what it is out there now.
I don't even want to know.
40 and gross. I mean,
Yeah.
there's DVH in a hoodie. So
my phone says it's 36.
And that doesn't include the wind chill, I'm sure. I don't even think that includes the wind chill. So that makes it even,
Dude couldn't feel his
disgusting.
fingertips out there,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like trying to blow in his hand to warm his hand up, but it's like you can see his breath.
And he was on a pitch count
hate that.
anyway, and they didn't bring him out for the second inning. But shout out to friend of the show, Will McIntyre, for stepping in. And I mean, he must have thrown, I guess 5 innings, gave up maybe just one run there. So good on him, man.
Yeah, it feels like 26.
Yeah, it looks like McIntyre pitched a little over 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, and had 6 strikeouts. So
some say he's the backbone of the program.
So that's $30 donated to the charity, right?
That's right. Yeah, since with 6 strikeouts donating, which, by the way, we'll put that link up there for those who missed the interview. K's for a cause, if you will. Which is a great deal given to Carti for cancer research. So great thing. If you missed that Will McIntyre interview on the show today, be sure to check it out because it was enlightening, it was awesome and entertaining, and it was good to see not only Big Mac here in studio, but then to see him go out there and I want to say save the day because I don't think that's just essentially what he was being called to do. But
he might have saved the weekend. It's a 4-game series, and your starter, your ace, goes out after 1 inning. So he saved the bullpen or whatever. So
yeah,
I mean, Hagen Smith almost got to his pitch count, or he got well over his pitch count. In 1 inning.
That's true. It's like 46 pitches in an inning.
He has a big time relief appearance for sure.
Yeah, and then for Hagen Smith, and then you had to go to Will McIntyre. So, but right now again, we got a runner at second, no outs. Kendall Diggs up to bat, so it's going to be fun to see what ends up happening
he
here.
Lost his helmet on that swing.
That was a heck of a swing there, folks. So again, we'll keep you updated on anything that changes throughout that, but.
There were a couple of dingers already, which is nice. I mean,
yes.
I do appreciate the long ball, so it was good to see that.
Did not have Jared Spraglott hitting the first one.
Who is that? Like, and that's how sad it is. Is like I watched it, and okay, there you go, Diggs with a single, and advance the runners. Got no, he didn't. So, anyways, 2 on with no outs. But yeah, who is that? Because
he is the guy who assumed a starting position when Stovall got hurt, and they moved Holtholder to second base, and they moved this guy into third.
I believe he's from Richmond.
Yeah, it was a transfer from Richmond.
Right.
But it was funny because I was actually driving, listening to Phil and Bubba on the call, and I of course hear about the home run call on it, and I hear the name. I was like, wait a minute, did James Madison hit that? Because I just did not recognize that name. I was like, did they get the teams wrong?
I know,
or something, but.
I've heard Ellis say his name several times. I was like, okay, but now that I'm looking at it, I didn't realize it's Sprague hyphen Lot. I thought that was just
Sprague
one name,
Lot.
but no, it's
So. He hit that home run, and I texted Ellis. I said more like Jared Sprague parking lot.
There we go.
We already got nicknames coming out, so I'm really hoping this guy Aloy's up to bat. Which we know the expectation that goes along with him, and this could be interesting. That. Oh man, I don't know. That was a mistake.
He hammered that ball too.
Yeah, should have been. I feel like turn 2, but they only got 1 out on that. But
I also appreciate Hudson White, who hit the other home run. It's very rare, I think, to have a catcher who leads off.
Oh
yeah,
gosh,
you don't see that too often. You know, that's pretty cool. So he's automatically my favorite player on this team already.
Just based on that alone.
Just based on that alone. If you're a catcher and you're the leadoff hitter, I like you a lot.
Yeah.
Typically, catchers tend to fall in like that 5 to 8 range in the order. You never like that's you brought that up.
And
that's
you think leadoff man, and I don't know if he's fast or not, but you think contact and speed or whatever. Most catchers aren't fast.
No.
So good on him, man.
Yeah, I was impressed by. When he came in, just the transfer itself of like, okay, this guy's a pretty big name and coming from a program that's really good and everything, and then to see as a catcher kind of getting that role, it's not easy to be a catcher and to be a good hitter, and that's why there's not many of them. Michael Turner was kind of one of their very few that was able to do both. It felt like so.
Very true.
Oh, geez. Well, that was not ideal. As a man, Arkansas has a double play, so
not great if you have the run line.
Nope, not at all. What was the run line in this one? What
3.5.
3.5, or what was it? 3.5? Yeah. Man, well, there you go. So we're going to Arkansas and JMU, going to the 8th inning and seeing exactly who's going to be able to talk this one out. But you guys mentioned it as far as like saving the weekend. It would just be the worst, dude. It would just be the worst if they lost this game. And I don't think they will. I think they're going to be fine. And even if they did, it's not the end of the world. But it's just kind of like, come on.
It's just
man.
It's a sick joke.
Yeah.
You know, if that happens. It's not, it's first game of the season, whatever, but you can't do that to these people right now.
No.
Come on.
No. Like have they suffered enough? They've already mailed it in on the basketball season. Even though there is a basketball game going on tomorrow, I think.
Is that
at some
right?
point, yeah. I heard.
No, there were a lot of people on Twitter during that first inning that needed to be talked off the ledge.
Dude.
Yeah, Scottie was very, very strategic. Like as soon as that 3-run homer landed, he retweeted out the story that we wrote for this Mississippi State game. Like you had it with baseball
like
already. Just go ahead and read about this game in Starkville.
I laugh so hard because one of my buddies who runs, I guess it's Woo Pig Sadness on Twitter.
It's a great account.
But yeah, he's awesome. And as soon as that happened, that 3-run bomb got up, he just said, we are on to football season. It's just a gif of Sam Pittman running out. And I was like, I mean, I know he's joking, but there's probably people that are just kind of felt that at first.
Counting down the days until he runs out to the 43-yard line again.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, gets all the way to the 43-yard line. But no, luckily it didn't happen, and Arkansas still got the lead. And it's like I think I heard that I'll double check it, but I think LSU was tied at 5 with somebody against that was
Really?
like a small opponent they should take care of business. Also, okay, so Gage Wood is pitching, by the way. Cut his hair, man. Like he looks so different now.
He looks completely different.
Yeah, I mean he looks like, I don't know, man. He kind of looks like Bing Crosby a little bit in his younger days over there. Like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. We'll see. If he pitches electric, then by all means, stick without the growing the hair out.
Did you guys see Did you see the prop for him? It was very disrespectful. I don't know if they still have him up, but like people think he's going to be maybe a closer and a big piece to the bullpen, and the props were ridiculous. I hope they still have him up here. Let me see if I can find them. No, they're already down. Oh well.
No, man.
But it was literally like like 2.5 runs and 3.5 hits or something like that, or 2.5 hits and 1.5 walks. It's like, man, you got no love for this guy.
Apparently
and it
not.
was only plus 200. So I was thinking,
get some love.
he's supposed to be the guy. Like,
Yeah. He was a dude that started really strong as a true freshman last year, and then just like a lot of true freshmen do, you get one bad game, one bad outing, and it just gets in your head so much. So
hit a wall.
Yeah. Also, Will Edmondson's in left field, so there's that guy.
Florida Atlantic is beating Vandy 11-9 in the top of the 9th.
Uh-oh.
That's notable.
LSU is losing 6-5 in the top of the 6th.
To who?
VMI, Virginia Military Institute.
I feel so much better now.
Yeah.
I feel like that just made. I'm not saying they're, even if they don't lose,
Right.
the fact that they are losing to teams that they should be destroying makes me feel so much better about Arkansas only beating James Madison right now 6-4, and hopefully it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Number 1 Wake Forest is down 1-0 to Fordham in the bottom of the first.
It's baseball, Susan.
Baseball.
Love it.
That's right. You just, because that's the thing. If you're one of these teams that's just coming into going into Baum Walker, like this team in James Madison, what in the world do you have to lose? Zero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what do you have to lose? You're coming in. It's cold. You're just going out there. No one's expecting you to win. No one's expecting you to even keep it close. And so just play loose. And, think about Arkansas and how much, not saying that it's the reason why, but the pressure that's on there. I mean, D1 Baseball said today in their predictions they have them winning the national championship, the College World Series. That's their prediction, which is rat poison.
It is.
As Nick Saban likes to say. But I just saw that and I was like, man, that's one, insane, but also it can kind of get to you a little bit sometimes if you nice little strikeout there by Gage. It
That
can get to you a
umpire's
little
ready
bit.
to go home, brother. It's cold.
Man, shout out to I don't know of anything that's more miserable to watch a sporting event than cold baseball.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like there's something about cold football where it's not great, but you can still find a way to make it work. And maybe it's just because you're so huddled up and the action's always ongoing. Like maybe, but to me, cold, rainy, windy baseball is the worst. That's like the same play that happened before. So all right.
Especially as a player, man, because you're just standing there for the longest. That's it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I'll always say it's great about basketball. You never have to worry about the conditions of the weather, at least. Yeah, and that's why it's played in the wintertime
That
mainly.
might be the one good thing about basketball.
Yes,
That's true.
At least for right now for people, because they still have games to be played, and nothing's really changed on the front of Arkansas basketball and where it's going to be. And I just don't know what else to say or to do about basketball.
12.5-point dogs on the road tomorrow.
That's wild, man.
That has to be their largest line that Arkansas's gone or been an underdog in for sure. That had maybe in the Muss era. It would have to be close, if not.
Because this is their toughest road game so far, right? I mean, I guess Florida maybe, but am I missing somebody? Are they play anybody good out?
I mean, as far as true road games, this is the toughest one so far.
12.5. And maybe Vegas is finally starting to figure it out. This, you punch these guys in the mouth.
They ain't doing it. It's probably what they're doing is they're losing their hide because everyone's betting against Arkansas and winning a bunch of money.
Right.
and so they're like, okay, we got to really overcompensate here. We got to start changing some things up.
Yeah, previous high on the spread, Arkansas was 8.5-point dogs at Ole Miss and an 8.5 dog against Tennessee.
Jeez. And you're telling me to Mississippi State on the road. Is it still the hump dump? Is that still what it's called?
Yep.
That's what I call it. Still.
12 and a half points?
But Mississippi State's coming off. They didn't have a midweek. So they've had, as Eric said the other day, they've had over a week to prepare for us.
So, I mean, are you guys touching this one? Like, are you touching this line?
No.
No.
If you are you leaning towards one at least?
Well, I mean, I would lean towards Mississippi State winning and covering. I mean,
it's just another case of like, what have you shown on the road?
Yeah.
Non-Missouri related, that makes you think that they're going to compete.
if Arkansas goes to Starkville tomorrow and, you know, loses a single-digit game, I'd be super encouraged. I mean,
encouraged of and what encouraged of
just lose the game by 3 for once.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Make it interesting. Make us think about it. Make us sweat a little bit. You know, for those of us that bet on the games, like do something.
Be competitive enough to where I don't have to hit the smelling salts at halftime.
Yeah, it's like we can actually have a good conversation of good content and good fun, and the entire time instead of just checking out about midway through that point. And
I do feel like the game live streams would be electric if we ever get a competitive game.
Yeah.
They would be, because I think, have we even had a competitive game since we've done them?
No, we've had a win, but it was the blowout against
Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah, and the rest of them have been clunkers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a close game that we're actually, you know, paying attention to down the stretch, it'd be nuts. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. But seeing a 12.5-point line for a Razorback team is truly, everything's been depressing. Everything has sucked about this year, but like that really puts it in perspective, because in the Muss era, and I've been texting some people about this, in the Muss era, there has never been, in Arkansas has, okay, when I say Muss era, since the COVID year, the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, all that, Arkansas has never been this high of an underdog.
Crazy.
Think about the quality of teams that they've played in that stretch too, and road games. Because listen, they've lost games. They've lost a lot of road games, and they've gotten smoked in some of these road games. You think back to the year of, you know, some of the Elite Eight years where they lost to LSU and Bama. What was it, back-to-back games in 1 week by 20? It seemed like
a million.
You know, you think about the times they've gotten destroyed like that. You think about the, you know, some of the other opponents that they've had, whether it's against Baylor, for instance, in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. True road games where, you know, you're going to be an underdog in, and the fact that Mississippi State is the team that is the one that is going to be the big giant, and you as an underdog is just,
I mean,
it's sad.
If they're a 12.5-point dog at Mississippi State, what are they going to be at Bama in a couple weeks? 18? I mean, what's going on?
Dude.
I don't know.
They may not even put a line on that one. Like
they might not.
They just may be like, no, ain't nobody betting on this one because you don't want to know what the line is.
I mean, they're going to take the money line thing off of it. Like, it's just not going to be.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing, and I don't know how it'll play out the rest of the year, but you mentioned that Bama game. Imagine if that win for Bama gives them the SEC regular season title.
It very well could.
Wait, it might. And if it does, and if that's what is on the line going into that game, you don't think Nate Oates and the newly founded Alabama fan base of basketball is going to go crazy, and that it's going to be an electric scene, and it's going to be energized, and they're going to come out wanting it, and Arkansas is going to be like, just please put us out of our misery.
Yeah.
Just put the bullet in our head and let us go. Let us bleed it out because we're done with this stuff. That to me would be whatever the spread is, 18, whatever. If that's on the line in that game,
Well, it might be.
Give me that.
It might be for that game.
Yeah.
But, like, why can't, like, Arkansas should just, like, you're 500 for the season, you're 5 games under 500 in league play, and you're playing a team on the road that is still very much, like, and Curtis wrote this today, on the right side of the bubble conversation with the NCAA tournament. Go play spoiler, man.
Yeah.
Like, just take pride in making somebody else's day miserable. Like, that's all you've got right now.
People love doing it to you.
Honest. Yeah. And just Arkansas is a bad loss at this point. Like, they have been for a while. Go compete with Mississippi State and make decision makers second guess whether Mississippi State's tournament quality. Like,
we were talking about it on the pod this morning, and Arkansas they're a quad 3 loss for Duke. Like that's wild. Like
That's
you
just
think about that
terrible.
scene. You come into Bud Walton. It's a marquee game. And, there's 20,000 people in there ready to storm the court. Like, that was nuts. It was a situation that was set up for Duke to fail.
Mm-hmm.
They lost that game, and it's like the biggest blemish they have on their resume.
Like, it's probably going to
losing
keep
at
them from
Bud Walton.
having, like, a higher seed.
Yes. Yeah,
just
it's like a
because of
seed line
that.
loss. That's right.
Yeah. And,
Gosh,
and same
man.
thing with, like, even teams. I'm not saying A&M's a good team, but, if they're down in the stretch and on a bubble like they normally are, it seems like every year except for last season, if they're on the bubble and they're going to be looking back, I'm like, man, that Arkansas loss is literally keeping us from getting into the NCAA tournament.
Dude, we're going to see those graphics come up for some of these teams. It's like, the resume or whatever, and it's like good wins, bad losses, Arkansas. It's
Like-
crazy, man.
Because I was trying to look at what just SEC teams in general, because Missouri's still 0-for, right? They have not won a game.
Mm-hmm.
And Vanderbilt has only have one win, and that's against Missouri.
They beat Texas A&M at the buzzer.
Okay, I forgot about that.
On
Okay,
account
A&M ain't going to the
account
tournament.
of being able to take 5 steps without being hit
Yes.
with traveling.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Vanderbilt's
it
only a
happened.
game behind Arkansas. So
I guess we'll decide where they're going to be at here
that's right.
in the next coming weeks.
That will decide who wears what color jersey when they play each other Wednesday in Nashville. Essentially, is what's going to happen.
That's what's on the line, folks.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
what's on the line. Do
I
you
can
want to
see
wear your
the-
whites or your reds?
I can see the 4-point play headline. Do you want to wear whites or you want to wear reds?
Yeah, dude.
Maybe even throw in the anthracite if you're feeling crazy.
They should.
Yeah, get wild.
Yeah. They need to bring back the pink jerseys when they beat LSU that
Yeah.
time. Those are pretty cool.
I like those just fine.
Yeah. Just start throwing out all the combinations, all the jerseys
They
that you
should've-
possibly can. Why not?
They should have done it Wednesday against Tennessee and have the pink versus orange debacle.
They had the pink shakers out.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they had those
gosh,
pom-poms.
dude.
Why not match it?
Look like SpongeBob versus Patrick out there is what it looked like.
Exactly.
It'd be gross.
Yeah, that's what that Arkansas LSU game was a couple years ago when
Yep.
the only time they worn them.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe they do bring it back, but the fact that they're going to be, going into a game like that and against Mississippi State, which I know Chris Jans is a good coach, but I already looked at, even when I still felt like this team had something and was actually maybe decent, I still looked at that game as a loss.
Yeah.
Because it's just something about Mississippi State, something about going there in the hump dump, and it's weird. It's gross. It's nasty. I mean, Arkansas
All
lost to
those
Mississippi
things.
State at home last year, right? I believe
They
And-
did,
And it was
yeah.
one of the most ugliest games you'd ever see.
Yeah.
So even when I thought this team was good, I still thought that was going to be a loss. And now, man, it's like I'm not going to, but I'll flirt with maybe putting some money on Old State to go minus 12.5. I might do it.
I mean, Arkansas is 7-23 all time at Mississippi State,
Jeez.
and I don't think that they haven't won there since 2015. So they have not won there since I graduated college, and I'm 30.
That's nuts, man.
Why? Like, why? Why does
was-
it have to be this way?
It was funny in here earlier because you asked me and John separately, like what we thought the line opened at.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mississippi State, yeah, minus 7.5. You asked John, he was like,
I mean, that
no,
was a
7.5.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
You're like, no, higher. And then we both said 9.5. No, higher. It just kept going and going.
Yeah. And I honestly couldn't believe that was the case. Like, I mean, I know it is, but I still thought that just basing on the trends of Vegas, where they would be putting those lines and those spreads and everything, I thought that maybe still, just maybe there'd be a chance, but there's not.
Yeah.
You mentioned, Scottie, about Arkansas 7-23 on the road against Mississippi State. We talked with Tennessee and how it was a little surprising that Tennessee actually had a winning record over Arkansas in the series. Mississippi State and Arkansas, surprisingly close. Arkansas does hold a 35-33 lead all time against Mississippi State, but you think about a program like in Mississippi State that's like, when were they ever, like Rick Stansberry in those years
Slick Rick.
when they had like Renardo Sidney was like the only teams I remember that actually were competitive or maybe pretty good or whatnot. But
Yeah.
the fact that there's just been that much discrepancy between these teams, and when I was looking back on it too, I didn't realize that Arkansas actually lost 6 straight games to Mississippi State from 2015 up until 20. Actually, yeah. So because Muss lost to him both times in his first season, so they had lost 6 straight games to Mississippi State during that stretch. and all of them were fairly close. But there's something about this team in this game. Granted, they won the previous 5, but it's just there's something gross about it. And Arkansas and Mississippi State, for whatever reason, Mississippi State's had a lot of success against Arkansas, which has been, without question, a much better basketball program overall the past few years. So I was a little surprised to see that.
Do you remember when Arkansas was supposed to have Daniel Gafford and Reggie Perry?
I do.
And then that
I
didn't
forgot
happen?
Reggie Perry.
Yeah.
That's why people don't like Seth Greenberg.
That's what it
Well,
was.
he was the one? Okay.
That's what it
Perry
was.
was
We
the
were talking
one.
about that,
Yeah.
folks. So we were trying to think
Man,
of
I've
why
been trying to
Razorback
think
fans
about
don't like
that
Seth
kid. I'm like,
Greenberg.
it was because of a recruit. Because I remember I talked to him at SEC Media Days in Birmingham, and I put out a story, and then I had a buddy text me, "Why did you talk to Seth Greenberg? He pushed so-and-so away," and I just couldn't remember who he said the recruit was. Reggie Perry.
Reggie Perry.
Reggie Perry.
That's tough.
And he was there for like, was it 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, something like that?
Reggie Perry
He
was there
some years,
for
sure.
I mean,
2 years and then went pro or declared or
I
whatever.
felt like he was there for longer than 2 years for some reason. But I do remember whenever he played Arkansas, it seemed like he had a pretty nice game. And that was also during the stretch where they lost because, yeah, there are always going to be those one players, you know, they're just like, man, remember when they were supposed to have him? Remember when Isaiah Joe was supposed to be on the team with Moses Moody and all them?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, that. Remember when, I don't think it would have mattered this year, but remember when Ron Holland was supposed to be on that team with Arkansas? And
I very, very vividly remember that.
yeah, we all do. And I was like, and that what made me mad about that is it made me look bad. Not that I care about it not necessarily, but it's like I was telling people like, man, I just feel good about it because I know we talked about it. Like us here 3, like in our text group, like, man, it's happening. Like it's
we weren't the only ones that felt good about it.
yeah, and we weren't. And that's the thing is like people. Whenever we say that, and can we like establish this, folks? Whenever we're saying stuff like that or like feeling good about it and putting out predictions and whatever it could be, we're not doing it because we're just pulling it out of our rear ends.
Right.
Like we have reasons. Like we're actually, and the reasons are solid. They're not coming from nowhere. Like just remember that. So keep that in mind whenever we break some more news or maybe feel good about something.
Yeah.
It's like it's coming from somewhere. It's not coming from nowhere.
If we're wrong, we'll wear it, but you know, we didn't just make it up.
Yeah. By the way, Arkansas just had bases loaded with 2 outs and came up short. Nothing there. So on to the 9th. So 3
buddy.
outs possibly away from Arkansas winning their home opener, and I am sure they'll be happy to get out of there with a win considering how it started. So
You take 1-0, win the day.
yeah, win the day. Hashtag.
I'm going to be 0-1.
Yeah.
You were right about Reggie
Unless it
Perry,
goes to
by the
extra
way.
innings.
About him having games
Against
against Arkansas.
Yeah.
He
His last
always
game
tore it
against
up.
Arkansas, he had 17 and 8.
Yep.
The game before that, in that 2020 year, he had 26 points and 13 rebounds, 14
bad.
of 15 from the free throw line. That plays.
Was that was the year when you had Adrian O'Bailey as your post player, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
That's exactly what it was.
They
Yeah.
had nobody for him.
yeah. And who was the coach of Mississippi State at that time?
Howland?
Was it still Howland at that? Yeah, it was Howland. Yeah. Yeah. Remember,
Jans replaced Howland.
Right. Imagine going from UCLA where you had multiple Final Fours and great players, and then it's like your next job's in Starkville, Mississippi.
Did he get fired from UCLA?
Yeah.
And then I was going to say, how did that happen?
He had a stretch, I think, where he went to like 3 out of 4 Final Fours or something like that. And of course, had Russell Westbrook, had some of the
Kevin
Jordan
Love?
Farmar, Kevin Love. Yeah, Kevin Love was there. So I thought it was so weird. I'm like, man, how is this guy, when he's going to go to Mississippi State, this might be good, but maybe not.
Yeah, he had 3 straight 30-plus win seasons with UCLA.
Not good enough.
2005 or 2006 through 2008, he had at least 32 wins. That's nuts, man. And
Not
then
good
they
enough.
kind of fell off the cliff there.
Dude, Ben Howland coached Trevor Ariza in college.
That's right.
Dang.
Yeah. I was telling you, those UCLA teams, man, those teams were pretty salty.
Did you know he was
crazy.
at Pitt before UCLA?
Yes.
Guy's been
No.
around.
Yes.
Wow, good for him.
Him and it's just another thing. Speaking of Pitt, what happened to Kevin Stallings? Is he still coaching anywhere? My guy from Vanderbilt. We called him fat and bald in the student section. He rubs his belly and looks up on his head and goes, so I shrugs. I'm like, well, at least he got some humor out of it. But,
Ben Howland also coached Luke Richard Mbamute.
Yep.
Just a million years ago.
I was the biggest UCLA fan when they beat Adam Morrison in Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament and made Adam Morrison cry on the court.
Love that.
That was like one of my favorite because they were down 18 points. They stormed back and won, and Adam Morrison just started crying.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's so wild. Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, and Darren Collison were on the same college team.
That's a squad, man.
Dude, they were I'm
My
telling
God.
you.
That's crazy.
Like, where's that UCLA team and those players? Was that because again, I even like a Jordan Farmar. I don't know if he's on that exact team, but Jordan Farmar was there for years, and he was a solid college player and even had a little run in LA.
It's really
And
good.
then that next year they had Darren Collison and Drew Holiday.
Dang.
Yeah, UCLA used to be it, man.
Yeah.
Just
There's no reason for him not to be. Like, you
Mick
are
Cronin
the
says they don't have
program.
any NIL. He's been complaining about that. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, how do you?
yeah.
how do
now
you
there's
not
no
have
way.
NIL?
Kid with the last name Bona.
Who?
Adam. What is it?
Adem Bona?
Adam Bona.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
he's good.
Tough.
he was good. Okay. All right, so I just got a strikeout, and that guy did not like the call. So 1 out, 2 away.
Yeah, I don't care.
Or 1
anymore.
away. But yeah, I look back to some of those teams that were really good during that time, and that UCLA teams every year when Ben Howland. That's when Ben Howland went to Mississippi State. I was like, oh, geez, this might. If he just recruits half as good, it might work out for him. But lo and behold, when getting Reggie Perry to go to Starkville,
Yeah,
Mississippi State,
that
he was
wild.
a 5-star player, right?
That was,
Like
an,
he
yeah.
was.
that was an Adidas thing, right?
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because it's kind of the same thing when Rick Stansberry was at Western Kentucky and they had that 5-star player. They actually beat Arkansas.
Charles Bassey.
Yeah, Bassey.
Yep.
Yeah.
That guy was good.
he was
man.
really good.
He had no business being there.
No, that's why everyone's like, okay, Stansberry. Like, we know what you did at Mississippi State, and suddenly you go to
Yeah.
Western Kentucky and you get a 5-star player.
And got
Come
him
on.
to stay for multiple years,
Yeah.
which is also crazy.
Mississippi State should be a Carhartt school
Dude. The fact that they're like, that
or
would
an
be.
Ariat school.
Yeah, yes. That would be perfect. Like, if you could,
mean,
they need to
Nike
get into
or
that. Like,
New-
honestly.
Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance. I saw a team the other day. It's got some New Balance joints on. They should be Carhartt
It's Kawhi Leonard
or
specials.
Ariat. Yeah,
Just John Deere. Like, just have something that's where you're just straight up, whatever farming country.
Sponsored by Bobcat.
Dude, that'd be great. Like them, like Oklahoma State needs that. Like there's certain schools that
Yeah.
need to have.
Caterpillar. Caterpillar's another one. I'm just
Caterpillar.
pulling names out of my my days as a
farmer.
man.
Yeah, it's like they had my grandfather always wore these specific overalls, and I remember always laughing about the brand, but they were, just denim overalls. But those were the only ones he'd buy, and I always thought, I was like, what's the difference in overalls? But apparently there's differences, major differences. But they need to get work into that. I think that would be a lucrative deal.
Yeah, Dickies maybe.
Yeah, Dickies.
Have some
Yes,
Dickies
that was
joints
it.
on.
That was it, Dickies. Man, and like I would like, I'll be honest, I love Nike stuff. But if Arkansas, like, just maybe in some sports went with a different brand, that would be pretty sweet.
That'd be cool with it.
Yeah, because they used to do it where football was Reebok. I think they had it different when it was different sports for a while. Football was Reebok, or no, Reebok was the first. It used to be Apex.
Yes,
and then
I
there
was trying to think of Apex.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Apex before Reebok, and then there was those Apex ones that had the jerseys with the Razorback logos that were just massive on there. Looked disgusting. But they had those, and they had I want to say that they had in baseball. It was still not Louisville, but what is the baseball brand? It's pretty popular. I'm gonna have to think of it.
Easton.
Easton, maybe? No.
Like Louisville Slugger or Rawlings.
Rawlings makes
Rawlings,
sense.
maybe. Yeah, it was one of those baseball branded deals. But yeah, they used to have it to where 3 different sports, and I think when Reebok came in, they're like, "Hey, we're getting all of this." So,
Did you guys
All
ever
right.
wear Reeboks?
oh yeah,
I did too.
oh
Never.
yeah, I used
Was
to
that
wear them all the
before your
time.
time?
Oh, hold on, wait, boys, we may
Not
have
that
a
we're that
final
old.
here. May have a final here.
wind's whipping.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, there it is, boys. Arkansas wins their home opener, 6-4.
Love donating money to Saracen.
Woo, buddy.
Order is restored in the sports world.
Yeah,
Let's go.
National championship is back on the table.
More like Gage Good.
Dude, well, we're gonna get him in studio. He's a funny dude. He's wild.
Love that.
But I'm sure that they're all happy to get out of that stupid weather. Like with these people, they're out. They're like, nah, we ain't staying for the celebration.
yeah,
been
roll
us.
up those flags and go home.
Look at those
Could've been
flags
over-
blowing. They're
that
not
could've
even
been
waving
us
them.
over there by the charcoal grill.
Yeah, we were gonna go to the hog pen today.
We were
And,
is the
you know.
key is the key part of that. We were, because I was planning on going to the game too, but I actually had other stuff going on. But I was like, man, it'd be fun just kind of go out there for opening day. And then I woke up this morning, the weather was fine, like it felt good. And then I started seeing the wind come in, and I went out to my truck. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah,
this is not baseball weather. Why couldn't have the opening day had yesterday's weather? Like yesterday's weather was perfect.
I know.
Could have just done it that way.
I'm going to get to at least one game in this series, though.
Yeah, I hate that for them, but, I mean, they'll be all right. Do we have a...
Vandy beat FAU 12-11.
Ah. Oh, well.
I also saw that LSU's now up 10-6. They scored 5.
That's fine.
Yeah, they're in control.
Boo. Wish that would have happened, and we could have had some fun seeing some other teams get upset. Be like, what? You guys are football schools.
Yeah.
And over here, we're sweating our balls off in the beginning part of it, just like hoping and praying that it doesn't happen that way. But yeah, Arkansas does get the victory by a final score of 6-4. And I tell you what, we'll talk about that here in a bit, folks. But since it is baseball season, we know that Alumni Hall has all their deals going on right now. And for those of you getting ready for the baseball season, some of you may have come in for this game and you're like, oh, geez, I did not pack a hoodie or a jacket or toboggan. I don't know. Listen, they have warm gear there at Alumni Hall for Razorbacks games and all the Razorback apparel. And if they don't have it, it doesn't exist, just being honest with you. So if you go over there to Fayetteville location, 3417 North College, get you some of the newest Razorback gear. Maybe you're going to be going to the rest of the games this weekend against James Madison. It's still going to be cold. So you're going to need some warm weather gear, or maybe you're going to be traveling and knowing that there's going to be another game you're going to be coming to. You can shop online at nattystatesports.com/alumni hall. That's nattystatesports.com/alumni hall. Check them out that way, too. You can have all the apparel delivered to your door, and it's not just for men. It's for women. It's for kids. It's for pets. They got it all at Alumni Hall. So check them out today, again, at nattystatesports.com/alumni hall. We'll take a break and come back with more of the John Nabors Show, recapping the Razorback dub against James Madison. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned.
We not done yet either. So don't be satisfied. We not done.
I mean, honestly, I don't really remember post-game. I guess I black out after games, winning and losing.
You missed it. You missed it. You missed the game. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go to it. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Best guys. I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Hey, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking. Let's get rolling.
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Let's stick my dick in the mashed potato. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Nabors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
All right, welcome back into the John Nabors Show here live from Natty State Sports Studios. I'm your host, John Nabors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Scottie Bordwin. We're hanging out in studio as Arkansas does win their season opener by a final score of 6-4 over James Madison. And it didn't exactly come easy, but a win is a win is a win at the end of the day, especially seeing some of these other teams that, good teams from the SEC, struggling a little bit. Vanderbilt struggled. What did you say that final score was, Scottie? What was the final of that Vanderbilt game?
It was 12-11.
Yeah, so high score, one-run game. And LSU's now up 10-6 against VMI. We're watching this one on ESPN, or SEC Network Plus or whatever. They really mailed it in on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
like,
what's
they don't
going
even,
on?
It's like usually you have underneath there, who's pitching and who's at bat, like their names, like underneath their scores and names. But they don't have it here. It's just purple and red. They're like, listen, we're not doing this. We're mailing it in. We don't really care. But either way, nice win for Arkansas, taking care of business, starting out 1-0. And in this one, and for those of you maybe didn't get to watch, or maybe you're just joining us, there was some little concerns there in the beginning part of the game as Arkansas gave up 3 runs with Hagen Smith starting, which I thought it was the right move getting him out pretty quickly after that. Like he threw 46 pitches, but the pitch count that we were talking about and that they were wanting to make sure he was not going over that, I think it was the right move to say, hey, let's just get you out of here.
There's too much stress in the first inning.
That's right.
There's running back out there.
There's a difference in pitches thrown versus like the stress on said pitches. Yeah, just get him out of there.
Yep.
And it was just an opportunity for Will McIntyre to begin his Golden Spikes campaign.
That's how I looked at it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, he performed very well. Again, Hagen Smith had 1 hit, 3 earned runs off a home run, had 2 strikeouts, as well as it was, I don't even want to read the rest. It wasn't good. But, but yeah, Will McIntyre comes in. Will McIntyre does get the win, but goes a little over. He goes 5 and a third inning, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, as well as 6 strikeouts for him. And then Gage Wood comes in to close up shop, has just 1 hit, but 4 strikeouts for Gage, and takes care of business and gets the save. So Arkansas is good there. And as far as the offense goes, batting-wise, you got a guy, just as we all anticipated and predicted and probably put money on for the first home run of the season to be hit by is it Sprague?
Yeah, Jared Sprague-Lott.
Sprague-Lott.
I learned that from listening to
the
the Bombastic podcast, so shout out to Ellis.
Yeah, he's going to help out with the pronunciations of all these names that we may not know. But
thought it was Tavian Josenberger.
I did too, dude. It's like because of the number and everything. There's some similarities there, but he gets things going offensively. And then you had Hudson White, the transfer from Texas Tech, hits another home run shortly thereafter and gets that thing going. And Arkansas was able to pour in a few more runs. And Diggs gets 2 hits in this one, as well as Sprague-Lott adds in 2 more hits. He also got a hit out of Hudson White, of course, for the home run. McLaughlin had a big hit there. Peyton Holt also with a big hit. So Arkansas finishes with 9 hits, 5 RBIs in this one. Also had 2 doubles and 2 home runs. Because what was the over-under? I know, Curtis, you were talking about the home run total. It didn't hit, did it?
No, it was 3.5.
Wouldn't finish with 3.
Yep.
Brutal. I didn't know how they were going to hit as many home runs as they did, honestly, just with the wind and how bad and brutal it is out there in the north. Just because you never know in those situations, the wind could be spiraling all out of the place. But that dude that hit the first home run for James Madison to really get some things going, man. That Trimble, I think is his name. Yeah, that dude ghosted that one. That was like a 400-footer.
Yeah.
So he's really good.
The first homer off the bat, first inning, see the ball come off the bat, and it looks like it's headed for left center.
Yeah.
And then it goes over the wall right of the batter's eye. That wind was doing some crazy.
Oh, yeah, it was nuts early.
That wind was acting up.
The whoever the left fielder was for James Madison, he had a heck of a time with the first ball that was hit at him. He just completely lost track of it and tried to turn and reverse course, and he fell down and it dropped for that double. I think that was Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs rolls in the second just laughing.
Yeah, because he knows, because he's standing out there and he's like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
glad that ain't me.
No. Well, and that's the thing with, the first game of the year of however many games. I wish there was, is there, college football, there's 12 regular season games.
I think you can play like a max of
there.
56.
Yeah, 56 regular season.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, because I don't know. They're so out of place where you just never really know what to expect as far as how many games go. That's what also, not to go too out of the woods, but that's when that Tennessee team a few years ago that was so good, they won 56 games. They lost in the Supers. They won 56 games. That's insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
And to lose in the Supers.
Single-digit losses in a season.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And
they got punked
nothing
by
to show.
Got punked by some Catholics up there in South Bend. That's got to be embarrassing. Never would Arkansas.
No. Never heard of that.
Yeah. Michael Kopesky says on a stream, wow, guys, what happened with Hagen? Nerves or TCU flashbacks?
I think it's just cold, man.
Yeah.
I really think that was it, Because in all honesty, like anytime Ellis has been out there for the scrimmages that they've done and he's pitched, like it's been, especially for January, February, it's been so nice out. And then when you got the facilities Arkansas has, like if it sucks outside with the weather, they just go indoors. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that this was the first time he's been out there in this kind of weather trying to throw, and probably didn't have a good feel for the ball, didn't have his command, and they jumped on one early and just get him out of there.
Yeah, I think
he'll be all right.
I think it's nerves too, because the guys that first guy was a walk, second's a hit by pitch,
Then you're trying to be too fine.
Yeah.
You leave one
Yeah,
fat.
because you're feeling, probably like, I got to make something happen here, so you leave something fat over the plate. And
he did.
And that's 1, 2, 3 in the order. That tells me it's nerves. Now, if it's like a little bit later in the order, maybe you could chalk it up to something else. I don't know.
It'll be fine. Like, again,
I'm not a baseball expert, but I'm saying nerves.
Yeah,
you sound like
nerves
you know
sounds
ball.
good. Knows ball. It sounds like either nerves or just elements.
As a former
baseball, it's baseball.
As a former all-conference pitcher in Class A in Arkansas, nerves.
Ooh, man, yeah, drop that on us. Why don't
let me
you,
get my
man?
letter jacket out here next week.
I just think too. I'm not saying this will be, and maybe we'll get a chance to see it, but Dave Van Horn will be saying after the game. Not saying this is the case, but you also got to think there's sometimes players, even if they're a third-year player like Hagen Smith, when you get that thing put to you as far as, oh, you're a preseason All-American, oh, you're getting picked to be, an SEC Pitcher of the Year or Player of the Year, that stuff can really maybe get to you a little bit. And especially, not to reference exactly what Mike said, but going back to the TCU series last year and how he struggled so much against them, which everybody did. So it wasn't just like it was a Hagen Smith problem, but everybody struggled against that TCU team. I think that there was a feeling of, oof, yeah, that was he wanted to get back out there and kind of get it going, and he didn't. But, there's a lot of games, a lot of season left.
He will shove in Arlington next week.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I guess they're gonna make sure he goes out there and he'll be pitching against Oregon State. So that'll be fun for him to get back in there and be on a big landscape like that too.
I don't think the weather is going to be an issue indoors next week, is it?
I don't think so. I think it should be fine.
Should be okay.
Yeah.
Can we go now? Man, let's get to that.
I'd say Thursday can't come quick enough for us to get down there too. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. I know a lot of people are going to be going down there, and we'll see how the rest of this week, because Brady Tygert's going to be the starter tomorrow.
Yeah.
For Arkansas, so we'll see how much he gets involved. And he was a guy that had his ups and downs last season too. Had a great freshman year. Now he's going to be the starter. How's he fit into that role? But as we can see with Dave Van Horn, he's like, hey, I got guys.
Oh yeah,
you ain't got it. Hey, well, it's like, yeah, well, we got somebody else. we'll throw it in there. But
I'm pumped to see Molina throw.
Sunday. On Sunday.
Yeah,
and especially knowing the kind of the expectation that he has, and if he can, like, as they got their Sunday starter and Hagen, or Friday starter with Hagen. And then you throw in the other guys, maybe it's still up in the air and still in the mix. But if Molina can really put it together and be that guy on at least a main rotation guy, like, hey, we know this, or main starter guy on Saturday or Sunday, one of the two. If they can just count on him to be one of those guys.
Who's throwing tomorrow?
Great. Brady Tigert.
Tigert?
Yeah, Tigert. And then
hopefully the basketball game.
It's Tigert, Molina,
in that 2-hour window.
Yeah, wasn't a true freshman on
Colin
Friday?
Fisher.
What's that?
Colin Fisher.
That's right. Yep. So, but yeah, it'll be. And it won't be just – they'll have plenty of arms to throw out there, because you still got to see Bybee, you still got to see Fouch, still got to see a few of those guys that get out there into the mix. But
glad we got
really
to see
like
Gage Wood on game one.
I like Gage,
It's always fun.
Yeah. He's a cyclone. And he is from – I'm trying to remember what city he's from in Arkansas. It's
Batesville.
Small. Batesville, yes. Because, man, I remember I had him on my radio show last year when I was on The Buzz, and it was during the season. And he came on, and I kid you not, I became I could have run for mayor of Batesville and won, because I had Gage Wood on the air with it, because they were just so. I mean, because listen, you got to be proud of it. I was like Gage Wood and Mark Martin, pride of Batesville.
Yeah, that's right.
Shout out Pete Roulier too.
Oh, he's from Batesville. I didn't realize that.
Hog fan.
That's my neck of the woods, man. Yeah,
dude,
love that.
What's in Batesville? Like, what's the main thing to do in Batesville?
Probably drink.
Go to the
beer.
Mark Martin Museum, right?
Yeah.
Or
drink beer and go to the Mark Martin Museum at the same time.
That's right.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Go to Lyon College and watch them play sports. They were in our conference when I was coaching, so we'd always have to go down there and play those guys.
Oh man! Wow.
Sponsored by Bad Boy Mowers, so.
Fitting. That's so fitting.
You can ride a bad boy mower in Batesville, I bet.
Yeah. While on your way to the Mark Martin Museum while drinking beer. And you can make it all work. You can put it all together and make it all work.
You can ride a bad boy mower while drinking a beer going to the Mark Martin Museum.
Yeah.
Pretty solid Pizza Hut in town. So.
And it probably still has like the buffet, like the
actually,
old school.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the one here in Fayetteville on School does, but that was one when I was growing up had the buffet.
Okay, yeah,
But
I think buffets, I feel like the places that don't traditionally have buffets, but they do them every now and again for lunch, like a lot of that's faded since COVID, I guess.
yeah.
Like Pizza Hut used to have a mean buffet.
Dude, it was great.
Kentucky Fried Chicken used to have a mean buffet.
I've been telling people about that. They don't believe me.
No, they should. Yeah,
The amount of
believe
mashed
John,
potatoes and green beans and just the
man.
biscuits you got. I mean, yeah, it was literally all you can eat. And I just think back, I think it was like $7 for
Yeah,
all you can
exactly.
eat KFC. Man, no wonder we got fat as a country. But man, it was so great though. It was so great. I love that place. But yeah, bring back the buffets.
Yeah, come on.
And get those back. Let's see. Again, Michael Kopesky's asking a few questions here since we were talking about some basketball. He's like, hey, so guys, who would be the perfect Muss replacement if Muss leaves?
On 3. You ready?
Yes. 1, 2, 3. Chris Beard.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. And I he obviously has his baggage with everything that went on at Texas, but I think I might have said it on this show before. Like he's serving his time now in Oxford. You know,
I love that he's serving his time. He's paying his debt to society while he's down there in Oxford.
Come on. But no, in all honesty, like that would make a lot of sense. I think because he's a heck of a coach. That's proven everywhere he's been. Obviously has the ties to the state with what he did at Little Rock and all that. I think he would be that's if I had to have a search, that's where I would start. And there's plenty of guys after that. Like I really like Jerome Tang at Kansas State. I think TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State would be a great fit. He's got a huge buyout. A lot of guys. Grant McCaslin. I know he just got to Texas Tech, so I don't know, but he killed it at Arkansas State and he killed it at North Texas. So there's a lot of names out there that would be good, but I'd start with Beard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and then it's still not that he's gone. I'm talking about Muss. It's not that he's gone, but it is something that it's going to continue to get discussed and talked about and alluded to. I don't know when it'll end. I guess maybe if he comes out and he signs an extension, that's about the only thing that'll probably end all the discussions about it.
It's nerve-wracking, man. And, we talked about his buyout being low and everything like that. And, yeah, like he doesn't have an extension yet. But the thing that gets me about it is it just – from the sounds of it, just kind of listening along and following around everywhere, like the coaching carousel just in general in college basketball this year is going to be nuts. I mean, a place like Ohio State fired their coach in the middle of the year, and they're not playing great basketball, but it's not like they're, 3-20 or something. But the reason they did that is to get out ahead of what's going to be like absolute chaos, and that just makes me uncomfortable.
Because I guess of the major schools that are going to be looking for coaches, Louisville for sure is one.
Yeah.
You mentioned think they'll keep Kenny Payne?
I mean, he needs more time. It's not that he lost games; he just ran out of games to win.
Villanova's one that might be.
Yeah.
And that's I hate that too.
I do too.
But you know what? I might be able to make a bag based on that koozie that I found in the bathroom in Atlantis that's got, what is they called? Kyle Neptune.
Yeah.
Their coach. They call him the king of the seas.
Yeah, King
or something
Neptune.
like that.
It was awesome, man.
Incredible koozie. I'm going to sell it like starting at $1,000. Yeah. And I'm not coming down from it.
But that's such a shame,
isn't that wild?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I wasn't even been there 3 years.
Second year.
A second year.
That right there is a prime example of why it is not or a prime case of like why it's not easy to follow a legend.
Yeah.
Like, he was Jay Wright's replacement. Jay Wright is looking younger by the day doing college basketball analyst work, and Kyle Neptune's just like trying to figure out how to get Eric Dixon to score 15 points a game.
Yeah.
And how his team can like make a shot or stop somebody. I mean, it's just it's a tough gig.
And you are right. I mean, Ohio State's already open. Villanova's in shambles. Michigan with Juwan Howard, like that's been a mess.
I think he's gone. He's got to be gone.
Oklahoma State with Mike Boynton, that's been a complete mess.
What about the UCLA? We were talking about UCLA. Like, I mean, are they somebody that?
I mean, I would say USC before UCLA. Like that marriage is probably over.
Infield.
Arizona State with Hurley, that's been a complete disaster. And then like UCLA is a mess. But yeah, I mean, like that's several big name schools right there. And then it's also the domino effect, right? It's like the Dusty May dude at FAU is probably going to get one of those jobs, and then that becomes open. Lamont Paris, who's killing it at South Carolina. Somebody's going to try to pay him, and then that's open. It's just going to be crazy, man. Like I'm excited, but also, given Arkansas circumstances and everything, I'm like, man, it's going to be weird.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy. Like Lamont Paris getting the love that he's gotten this year, and it's all well deserved. His name being thrown out for like National Coach of the Year, he might bounce from South Carolina soon. He might really love that job. South Carolina, I don't imagine they've been really relevant in basketball since Frank Martin really took them to the Final Four.
Never went to any postseason in his 8 years, but went to one Final Four.
Right over there, we made an update to the portal big board, and I put one of Lamont Paris's freshmen on there, Colin Murray Boyles. Really good player. He's a Columbia, South Carolina kid.
Yeah.
So he's a homegrown kid.
Man.
So who knows if he would leave, but I mean, part of the reason he probably went there is because of Lamont Paris. So,
well, and just knowing how the programs and some of them that we've mentioned, that doesn't even include maybe some of the programs too. And it's not like saying that it would happen, but maybe some of these programs where coaches are getting older and may start retiring. Like, when is Tom Izzo going to be like, all right, I'm out of here? When's he going to be done?
Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. Jim Larinaga at Miami.
Man,
they had high expectations this year. They've been as disappointing as Arkansas. And he ain't getting no younger. So I mean, it's gonna be nuts, man.
It is.
It's really gonna be crazy.
And anytime there's a coaching search, especially at Arkansas, it's nuts and it's wild. And if it all happens the way that people are fearful of, and say if Muss leaves Arkansas and takes one of those jobs that's opened up, then suddenly it's going to give the vibes of almost like when Pittman was before he got hired at Arkansas. Because if you guys remember, and I know you do, the SEC had like 6 openings that offseason.
Yeah.
And Arkansas was the first one that was open and the last one to get filled. Now, I know that's football, not basketball.
Sure.
But it goes back to the amount of options that are getting thrown around. And when you're somebody like, if Muss leaves and you're Arkansas, which you're a high-quality program, there's no doubt about it, you're the top 15, top 20 job in the country, no doubt about it. But when your job's open alongside UCLA, Villanova, Michigan, all these other places, it's like it almost becomes like player recruiting and NIL, where you're in constant negotiations because this coach, Chris Beard, throwing in his name out there, is like, okay, well, I'm thinking, how much you guys think? Well, we're going to pay you $5 million a year. Okay, all right. Well, Michigan's going to pay me 5.6. So now what? 6. So it's going to be chaotic, and for Hunter Yurachek, what does he do in that situation? Dude, and if it happens that way,
probably loses a lot of sleep. He's trying to figure some things out, and that's just because you brought up athletic director. Like it's thinking about Ohio State. Well, they just got Ross Bjork, the Texas A&M AD, and so then people were automatically going, well, are they going to hire Buzz Williams from A&M? Like, he otherwise would never consider leaving, but like that's who hired him, and so it's a reasonable thought to have. But then, like, that's the part of the trickle down that you don't think about. Like, I don't know, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy, man. It really is, and it also is a little bit different now because, like, even when Muss was hired at Arkansas, it happened a little bit later probably than people wanted it to or whatever. But they were fine. They figured it out. But like the sense of urgency is so much different now with the portal opening before the season's even over. Like the day after Selection Sunday, the portal's open. So if you have a job opening, like you got to fill that sucker fast because these guys go quick, man.
It's almost like you've got to have a handshake agreement.
Yeah.
Yes.
With somebody before the conference tournament's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a lot of moving and shaking, man.
So like whenever they're done, they can just hit the ground running.
So like, who knows? Maybe your check's like, hey, Muss, just if you leave, you leave. Just let me know. Like, give me a couple weeks heads up. Like,
give a brother
just
heads
if you're
up.
talking to somebody, if you're out, if there's nothing we can do to keep you, if you're just out of here, just do me that favor.
Yes.
Just let me know so that way we can part. Was it amicably? I think that's the word. Yeah. Do that.
Amicable
We'll do that.
separation,
It's mutual thing. Go do your job. Wish you nothing but the best. Thanks for the great years. And we can get ahead of the game a little bit because roster turnover and NIL and transfer portal and the coaching craziness. Like, I'm not saying that would happen, but man, if if you're Yurchek, that's got to be something you're just like, oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I don't
I'd
want
be
to
like,
deal with
I
this.
would just be like, listen, either sign this extension or whatever now, or just like don't get offended if you hear that I'm putting out feelers to other people. Like you gotta give me something to help me sleep at night, or I gotta do my job, man. Sorry. I don't know.
Well, we had a message from Michael that said, was Muss the first choice when the Arkansas job came open? I've been asked this before. I think Yurachek, he was the first choice for Hunter Yurachek. I think that's who he wanted from the get-go. I truly do.
I believe that too. Or he was at least very high on the list.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there were people involved, whether it was the board of trustees or whoever, that really thought that they could get Chris Beard.
Yeah.
Because that year, Chris Beard was playing the national championship game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted to wait. Well, it's like, you can't wait. And then there was also the thing with the Kelvin Sampson angle there.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Which
didn't he get asked about that at the NCAA tournament?
I think he did. Yeah. And he came up with one of the coaches' answer of like, I'm focused on my job here, blah blah blah. Who knows? Maybe that was like one of those favors like Jeff Long did for Les Miles at LSU.
And then by him saying that, everybody thought he was the front runner.
Yeah. And again, Kelvin Sampson's a heck of a coach, so I don't think anybody would have been mad about that.
Sorry, I just had an epiphany.
What's up?
I'm just going to throw this out there. Now, we're going full circle by me doing this, but if there were an opening, I'm telling you right now, a name that would draw a lot of buzz at Arkansas, whether people like it or not, just prepare yourselves, Will Wade. I've heard it from more than one.
The guy that puts his hands up here when
That's
he's...
him. Yeah, the pear-shaped man that used to be at
LSU. The guy
LSU.
who, during, I believe it was the COVID season, maybe it was the year after, Eric and Will Wade are about to shake hands at the post game, and they're shaking hands, and then Eric's just got his hand on Will Wade's cookie pouch down there.
Cookie pouch.
I mean, that's just, my buddy Ryan used to send me that pic like after every game that Arkansas beat LSU in. Yeah, it was
It's
so
a big
good.
old cookie pouch. I
Maybe
forgot
a little
about
bit
that,
more
too.
than a cookie pouch back then.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't mean to get us off track. I was thinking about that, and
no, you're good.
that
brought up a good memory.
That
for
was a
me.
name that was thrown out there to me by
Because
someone
here's
who
the thing, is
I
Will
would
Wade
trust,
a good coach? Is he a good coach?
Dude,
I actually think he is.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
got McNeese, and it's McNeese State, but they're rolling.
He's obviously a heck of a recruiter.
We know that.
Fair or not.
So
but yeah.
full
Know that.
transparency here. I don't know how many people care. But last week I bet McNeese State to beat Houston Christian by 20.5. They were up by 40 with 10 minutes left. And I've seen some stuff where it's almost like these guys on Twitter, big basketball, big brain guys, that they pull film from teams that do really good defensive work. And what is it called? Like triple switching, pick and rolls.
Mm-hmm.
He does that, and you just can't beat that pick and roll defense. And Will Wade's got McNeese State doing that.
Rolling.
Like they're really good.
Yeah.
Did they go beat? They won at Michigan State.
Believe so.
I think he went
It
and
was
beat
some
Tom
big
Izzo.
win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm trying to remember which year, but that year that LSU had the 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, and I think that was the year that they had
It was Michigan, but yeah.
It was Michigan. Okay. Well, I remember that year that they had all the crap. I think it was surrounding them that year. During the season, still made it to, because was Will Wade suspended during the year from the school?
Yes.
I feel like he was, and then he came back, and they were a 3 seed. I don't know how far they went. I think they may have lost in the second round or something. But that team was pretty loaded. That was a really good basketball team.
Do you remember Shahada Wells?
Yeah.
That's his best
UTA
player from
kid?
UTA.
Yeah, he's really
Arkansas's. I think Eric prepped for him. I think I could be wrong about that, but yeah, they're really good. Like they opened their year beating VCU on the road, and then their losses this year are by 2 points, 9 points, and 3 points. And then they're just kind of beating everybody else to sleep, it seems like. They're really, really, really good.
I remember being in.
It's pretty good.
I guess it would have been Tampa, actually, the year the SEC tournament was there. And Arkansas beat them that first day, and it became the third time that season they beat LSU. And Will Wade was up there, and we kind of asked him about it. He was like, listen, Arkansas is just better than us. Like, you beat a team 3 times in a season. Like, it is what it is, you know? And it was such a it's a fire quote for like Arkansas fans to hear, and then literally the next day he got fired.
Yeah.
Like gone.
Like that's what
it's like
cracked
the
me up
last thing
too.
he said.
Yeah, it's like that was his like Arkansas fans and everybody's like, hey, we ended Will Wade's career at LSU because they're like we beat him 3 times in a year, and it was true because that was also I think the same year that Arkansas and had LSU at home where LSU blew that game. Like if you go back and watch it on War Machine's highlights and go back to that game that year at home against LSU, I remember I was at the Town Pump in Little Rock, and it was. Arkansas had zero business winning it.
No.
And I think
they got some home cooking to do it.
Yeah, they did. And there was also, I think, one of the players for LSU, like, was just a boneheaded play where he tried to drive in, and I think LSU had a 4-point lead or something and had 20 seconds left on the shot clock and tried to drive it in and shoot and missed. And I
remember that.
Because I think it was Jimmy Dykes may have been on the call. Say what you want, but I remember he's just like, what are they doing? Like, he's like, what? I don't know what he understands. So, point is like, those were pretty close games. And Arkansas always seemed to battle, but they still got the dubs over them.
To go back to his coaching acumen, like that was when, he had Darius Days on that team, who was like the all-time Arkansas killer. But I remember they just kind of said, you know what, we're going to go small. And they put the Tari Eason kid as like their small ball 5 and like drew Jalen Williams away from the rim where he couldn't take those charges. And Muss had nothing for it, man.
Yeah,
they were very fortunate to win that game. But yeah, anyway.
Those are good.
Will Wade can coach. Say what you want about him.
Man.
He does a lot of things.
That McNeese State team. That McNeese State team, 22-3.
Where are they based out of? What state is McNeese State in? Is that
Louisiana?
Louisiana. Okay, let's say Texas, Louisiana.
Right?
Yeah,
McNeese State.
Yeah, that's why he likes it there because he
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
They're going to ruin somebody's NCAA tournament.
They really are.
Yeah, and then that is going to get him hired.
They've
quicker
beaten,
than anything.
Yes.
They've beaten VCU, UAB, Louisiana Lafayette, Michigan this year.
Man, they beat Barry Dunning and the UAB.
Yeah.
Andy
Poor
Kennedy
Barry,
and UAB.
man. Barry's not even playing at UAB.
He is.
Andy Kennedy's UAB teams that's a fun team to watch.
They're fun.
I always liked Andy Kennedy. I don't care what anybody says.
Speaking of UAB, we added one of Andy Kennedy's best players to the portal board.
Yeah, we did. And it wasn't Barry. It's a shame. He's a great kid. I thought he'd play more there, but
no, he ain't. Well, we got to get like a digital platform that you're bored, so that way it's like it's always keeping things updated on the socials and everything. So it's a great board though.
Coming
beautiful
soon.
writing.
Working
on it. Yeah, they're trying to put things together there. We're gonna take a break, folks. We'll come back. We'll get to more of your comments and some other stuff going on in the sports world, especially a crazy story that I definitely want to dive into. But first, we got to tell you about, of course, our friends at Superior Contracting and Development. They're in Valonia, Arkansas. They are statewide, though. Just because they're in Valonia doesn't mean they're only in Valonia. And they are licensed residential and commercial contractors specializing in all aspects of building and remodeling. They handle everything from fencing to drainage to additions to remodeling of your existing structure, all the way to land development and ground-up construction. So you can call them today for interior and exterior construction and remodeling needs at 501-453-3053. That's 501-453-3053. You can check them out on their website at superiorark.com, or you can also email them and get a direct response quickly, fast, and in a hurry by emailing them at contracting@superiorark.com. But again, they are the ones to have all of the interior and exterior remodeling done to your home. So check out Superior Contracting and Development today at 501-453-3053. We'll take a break and come back with more of the John Nabors Show here live from the Natty State Sports Studios on a Friday, so stay with us.
We not done yet either, so don't be satisfied. We not done.
I mean, honestly, I don't really remember post-game. I guess I black out after games, winning and losing.
You missed it. You missed it. You missed the game. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go to it. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Best guys. I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Hey, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking. Let's get rolling.
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Now Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Let's stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Nabors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
Welcome back into the John Nabors Show here live from the Natty State Sports Studios. Appreciate everybody listening in this afternoon as we're getting you ready for the weekend. And it is a weather change of epic proportions out there for those in Northwest Arkansas. But that's Arkansas weather. I was laughing with Branson, our fearless leader here. And it's just funny how every time we come into our office space, we got to adjust the temperature on stuff because it either is too hot or too cold. And it's been like that all week long.
Varies room from room.
I know. And it's like, why is it this way? Why does it have to be this way? There's no reason for it to be this way, but it is this way. So, but anyway, we're getting you ready for the weekend. And again, Arkansas taking care of business and getting the dub earlier today. And tomorrow, when's first pitch? I should have looked that up for tomorrow.
2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock. Okay, because the basketball game's at 1.
Right.
Baseball's at 2. Okay. Gotcha.
Unless they change it again for...
Which they may. I mean, I was looking at the weather for tomorrow, and it doesn't look great. It's
really?
Like going to be a high of 39.
Oh, it's just another miserably cold day.
Yeah. The warmest part of the day is going to be right at first pitch. And just gets worse from there. So just be ready for that, folks. If you're making the travel arrangements, just be ready for that. But either way. I did want to bring this up, too, which is a crazy story that actually kind of happened yesterday, I guess, technically. But I did want to, since we had Will McIntyre on there, I did want to bring it up and discuss it because it's a pretty, I mean, I don't want to go too much over the top with it, but it is a pretty wild story from the LSU side of things in football. And I know that there's a lot of crazy things that happen in sports, but anytime that something's like murder involved or accused of, allegedly, whatever that may be, is always something that really kind of blows my head off. Like, you think about the whole deal with Brandon Miller. Like, that was a crazy story.
It was nuts.
It was a crazy story. And that's something that just kept on and on and on, and understandable. But I wanted to bring this up because, again, we're looking at it from the perspective of similar to, I don't want to say it's like exactly like Brandon Miller or anything, but still kind of a crazy story dealing with murder, as LSU freshman tailback Trey Hawley had turned himself into the Union Parish Sheriff's Office on Thursday and faces a charge of attempted second-degree murder. It's one of 3 felony charges he's facing tied to a shooting last week in Farmerville, Louisiana. Don't know where Farmerville. Do you know where Farmerville is at? That's what we need Ellis here for.
I'm looking.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a huge town.
It is not even close to Baton Rouge.
So very far away.
Very far away.
In
it is
Louisiana.
closer to the Arkansas state line than Monroe.
So yeah, he's way far away from Baton Rouge. Well, Sheriff Dusty Gates, that's the most Louisiana sheriff's name I've ever heard in my life. Dusty Gates of the Union Parish Sheriff's Office told ESPN in a phone interview that Hawley turned himself in around noon, being held on a $512,000 bond. Hawley's arrest is one of the 3 arrests tied to the shooting where 2 people were shot. Gates said that both of the victims are expected to live. He's also facing charges of aggravated criminal damage to property and illegal use of a weapon. He's been suspended indefinitely from all LSU activities, and LSU gives out the great statement that they always do in these situations. Aware of the student-athlete has been arrested in relation to the shooting of the Union Parish. And that's about it. But it says, according to the lawyer who's apparently representing Hawley, he says, quote, Mr. Hawley emphatically denies all charges, and we look forward to having our day in court. So he had 110 yards on 11 carries last year. And he apparently was one of the most accomplished running backs coming out of high school in the state of Louisiana. He's also the number 10 running back, but either way. Crazy story.
If you were accused or alleged to have committed second-degree attempted murder, would you turn yourself in? Or I don't know. I've been thinking about this for a while actually today. Like, would I, on one hand, like if you turn yourself in, it's like I got nothing to hide. Like, sure, I'll cooperate, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to give myself to authorities unless maybe I'd let them come get me.
Right.
I don't know, man.
That is a good question. And I'm not somebody aficionado in the law of the land. I do have lawyer buddies that
I've never attempted to kill anyone.
Yeah, so exactly. Hopefully, we're never in that situation to where we're being accused of second-degree attempt to murder. But
don't look at me. I haven't either.
If I was accused of it in this way, and I know I was 100% innocent, I actually may just turn myself in because I'd just be like, you know what? No, there's zero chance this is true. So I'm going to go to you, be like, all right, let's talk about this.
I think that's the card he's trying to play. Like, I'm going to turn myself in to like just like, I wasn't involved in this. I plan to plead not guilty and
sure.
You just move on with your life.
This is something that me and Ellis talked about on the Six Pack. We did a Would You Rather, and it was, would you rather be hunted down by a serial killer or hunted by the authorities like the FBI for a crime you didn't commit? And we had a long debate about it. And, his thought, and I understand it from his perspective because he was like, I feel like I could talk my way out of anything. So I'd rather be hunted down by you know what I mean? He's like, I don't think I could talk a serial killer out of killing me if you want to do that, but I could talk the cops out of charging me for something I didn't do.
He could probably do that.
But like, I wouldn't want to willingly give myself to the authorities and then risk being in jail or whatever the rest of my life for something I didn't do. I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to. I don't know. Again, we're never going to be in that situation, so we don't have to really.
I don't have plans.
Really go too much in depth as far as worrying about it. But I am with you. I've gotten a discussion where some of my lawyer friends have said anytime you get into that trouble, like pulled over, and even if you're innocent, you need to just say no. You say no to everything that they're requesting. So I'm like, man, that gives me too much stress. Because I'm like, I got to sit here, and it's like, if I give the wrong yes or no answer, I could go to jail. I don't want to be in that mindset whenever I'm dealing with a police officer, because nobody wants to be. Where it's like, I plead the fifth. What is that going to get you? It's just like, if you're innocent, you're innocent. If you're not, you're not. But in something like as serious as that, I just don't understand. First off, I'll never understand when people get in those situations where that's happening. But I'll at least give him credit to, not the benefit of the doubt, because everyone's innocent until they're proven guilty.
Sure.
But I think that I would give him at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt for turning himself in. That's worth something to me.
Let me ask you guys this. If I just came to you both and I said, hey, a college football player was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder, what program would you have assumed I was talking about?
Bama.
Okay. Where would LSU have been on the list?
Pretty
I
high,
feel like
too.
it'd been pretty high on mine.
Top 10.
Yeah.
And if it was with their vehicle, I would say Georgia, because those guys speed like crazy, because they're like 18 guys getting busted for speeding over there.
They think the highway's the Autobahn.
Exactly. Apparently in Athens, they're flying through there.
Miami's probably up there.
Yeah. I was thinking about the U. Yeah.
USC just because it's USC or UCLA just because it's a big city. Like, you can get into a lot
maybe
of
Houston.
stuff in Los Angeles.
Houston, maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, low-key, like, kind of for different reasons, West Virginia. I'm just telling you, there's stuff. You don't want to feel like it happened in Eugene.
You don't want to get lost in West Virginia,
get into some trouble with the good old boys in Morgantown.
No.
Those hills have eyes, dude.
Yeah, not Eugene, Morgantown. Yeah, Morgantown, dude. I don't want to deal with that. And it's not saying anything, but you think about some of the characters that they've had roam through that school, too. Some dudes that are pretty violent. Pac-Man Jones. You had, was it Chris Henry, rest in peace? But he was a dude that was pretty intense.
Bob Huggins.
Bob Huggins. Yeah, I can't forget Bob Huggins.
I mean, Ohio State's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just honestly waiting for the response of this for Brian Kelly to just be, he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Being super judgmental with these programs. But my guy, Trey Holly, 5'7", 192 pounds.
Where's
Wait,
he
hold
from?
on a second. Hold on.
He's from Farmerville, where this murder happened.
Oh, okay. That's
so.
He's 5'7", 192 pounds.
That is correct. Yes.
There are cornerbacks in the SEC that are 6'2", 178 pounds.
I mean, look at him, Curtis.
Scat back.
He's very round.
Well, I would say so. And he's a run man.
So like,
they grow him different down there.
I don't know. I haven't read that story enough to know if there were witnesses or not. But you know, a 5'7", almost 200-pound guy when you see one.
Yeah.
It's a very specific shape of a man.
Yes, yes, very much so. Wow, I didn't. That is wild.
That's nuts, man.
I always think back to Dennis Johnson. They're the run. It's not about murder, but about Dennis Johnson, the Razorback running back. He was 5'9", 210, and he looked it like he was just a bowling ball. But yeah, that's a wild size and frame to be there. But
so my wife is she's asking what I'm wearing today.
I would imagine. I personally think it's the best thing in his closet.
It's a Cardinals jersey, right?
It's a Stan Musial Cardinals jersey. I got like a decade ago when I liked baseball.
You got that? She clearly didn't get it for you, so.
No, it was.
She should have, though.
It was pre-meeting Mal.
I gotcha. Well, you made a wise decision hanging on to that and wearing it today. You did good.
I couldn't find my Matt Carpenter jersey.
Ooh,
so the Stan Musial jersey had to work.
Yeah.
I'm a basketball guy, but I've only got one jersey, and it's baseball.
And that's it?
That's it.
Oh, boy.
I got rid of my Steve Nash throwback jersey last year.
Do you have any jerseys, Curtis? Are you a jersey guy?
I have a Nolan Ryan jersey, Astros jersey.
Of course.
That's so
it's needed.
I've got a Kobe Bryant.
8
Lakers,
or 24?
8, actually.
Old school.
I think at this point, that's it. Oh, well, no, I've got a Stan Musial in the powder blue Cardinal.
Love that.
I've got that.
Like the Ozzie Smith era?
Yeah.
Cardinal.
Yeah.
Man.
But those are my 3.
Yeah. I think only ones I have is I have a Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma jersey.
Yes.
Because I dressed as him for Halloween, getting tackled on Dixon Street. I have a Chad Pennington Jets jersey, a Vinny Testaverde Jets jersey.
Oh, that's a good one.
A Keyshawn Johnson Jets jersey.
That's a
so
better
you just
one.
get like you just get like PTSD every time you look at these jerseys.
I stopped buying them for a long time until I was stupid enough to be excited about Sam Darnold.
Ooh.
Didn't buy one. And then when Zach Wilson got drafted, I'm like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not buying a jersey for that.
I was never a believer in Sam Darnold because he looked like he should have been a character on Riverdale.
Dude, yeah, the dude looked like a caveman. Like he kind of had a big forehead. Just
looked like a trust fund kid.
Yeah, wearing his salmon shorts all the time.
Oh. Yeah,
not that I'd know about those.
No Aaron Rodgers. You didn't.
I mean, I wanted to, but it was like, I have PTSD. It's like every time I feel like anybody get excited, like the fact that my most exciting jersey and the most successful Jet of the jerseys I have is Chad Pennington. I think he still holds the record for the most accurate quarterback in the NFL history. But the problem is he couldn't throw past 20 yards.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's it. But I will say, though, besides that, I do have some basketball jerseys. Still got my Brandon Dean Razorback basketball jersey and a Corliss Williamson one, of course. I do have, for some reason, I don't remember why, I have an Alonzo Mourning Miami Heat jersey, a black one. I have no idea why.
The black one?
Yeah, the black one. I have that. And then I have, in the baseball jerseys, I have, actually, no, my buddy took those back. I had a Clayton Kershaw jersey I wore a lot. I have I think I have a Nolan Ryan Rangers jersey for some reason for baseball. I got some Razorback baseball jerseys, and I think that's about it. So,
what is this last comment about?
Making jokes. I saw you guys making jokes about Trey Hawley. Just make sure y'all don't come to Baton Rouge and bet you guys
5'7" and 190 pounds and round. That's all I said.
I don't think anybody was making fun of Trey Hawley.
I don't think so either.
John Nabors and the Curtis guy. That's what he calls us. It's okay. All right. Well,
looking forward to my day on a T-shirt. Thanks.
How do we just say those smallest comments and we just piss off an entire region of the country?
How about you give us $1,000 and then you throw y'all on T-shirts?
Yeah, we'll do that. You can put us on a T-shirt if you want. Like, that's fine. It's good for us. But yeah, Curtis sends out one tweet about Buffalo, public enemy number 1.
Unreal, man.
Yeah, just saying. And then we talk about the story of Trey Hawley is what we talked about and how he is a very large man for a short stature.
Or whether or not we would have turned ourselves in.
And yeah, we're getting threatened.
Just make sure you don't come to Baton Rouge. Like,
Ooh.
Okay.
Man, what's going to happen there?
I hope you're not seeking
Watch
out
a
everyone that's talking about this story.
Yeah. Good
Weird
grief.
behavior.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, the guy got accused, turned himself in for an attempt of second-degree murder. Like, maybe you should be more worried about him and like what his behavior is instead of worrying about us.
Keep the $1,000 and throw it toward his bail, maybe.
Yeah, throw it out there too. So I have no idea what Christian Bird is talking about, but that was pretty funny. Lane says best jersey is Jameis Winston is the best jersey, bar none. Go Knowles. I guess we have a Florida State fan there too. I will say Jameis Winston's Sunday conversation with Caleb Pressey was really good. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch that, but yeah, is the dubs that he did and then
first four letters in his name is wins.
Jeez, hate it here already.
That's pretty good.
He's still with the Saints, right? Is he still playing Saints? I think
he is in New Orleans. Yeah, there's never been. I don't know that there's ever been more of a match made in heaven than Jameis Winston in New Orleans.
Yeah,
I'll agree.
He is
Zion Williamson.
He is as crazy as that city is.
And I'll throw this out about Jameis. I am not a Jameis fan or anything, but I gotta give the guy credit. Dude won a national championship. Dude won a Heisman. He's weird as can be, but he also got drafted where he could have been a Major League Baseball pitcher. Like he was drafted in the first round as a pitcher. Like he was really good, and he's been in the NFL and sticking around and everything, and he's stayed out of trouble for the most part out of the NFL. And here's the thing, like, I don't care what anybody says. My theory is, looking back on it, he wasn't stealing those crab legs. Those were being given to him.
Yeah.
And in order to avoid it, suspending him for NCAA violations or anything like that, they're like, dude, it's sad, but it's true. You're better off saying you stole them than saying you were receiving them as a gift. And
that's a good point, actually.
Like, that's to me what happened. Because you think about it, if it would, because there's probably had to be some sort of hit piece coming out, or somebody found out and called up Florida State and SIDs or whatever, like, hey, just let you know we're about to put up this story, got a report that Jameis Winston's stealing crab legs, and so we're going to put it out. And they're like, Jameis, come on. Did you steal crab legs? No, coach, I got those. I just go in there all the time. They give them to me. All right. Well, we're going to tell you that you stole them. And that way you can play. Fair? Fair. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Got it.
I stole crab legs. Because I don't care how weird anybody is. Nobody's going in there and stealing crab legs from Publix. You're getting a pub sub, if anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to steal them.
Of all the things. Yeah,
of all the things. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it there. But either way.
Somebody tell Christian to shut up.
Yeah, I don't know what is happening here with that Christian. Christian's irate about us talking about Trey Foley.
My gosh, dude. Yeah, he ran the ball 11 times last year, and you're ready to, like, risk it all for him.
Yeah. He ain't worth risking it. I can tell you that right now. Let's see. Also, Wade McFadden says, y'all see Frank the Tank is going to an ASU basketball game next week, I believe. Is he really? Did y'all hear anything about that? No. Barstool Frank the Tank? I'm assuming this means Arkansas State, not Arizona State. I am assuming that's the case.
Well, good.
All right, cool.
Tell Darian Ford we said what's up.
Yeah. Is he still is he still there?
Talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Talking about this Christian Burris guy. I don't know what he's talking about. This guy's funny though. He says Christian says it's not hard to find someone in Baton Rouge, especially the ones that are there for a specific reason of seeing a team play. Okay. And he says we're going to see who is stupid when somebody and up dead thinking it's funny and they can't get touched.
What are you talking about?
Like, I don't even know if he's saying sentences. Like, I don't even know what that is.
Gosh. Drunk, go to sleep.
I'm telling you, again, it goes back. We can find ways.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
I mentioned to Ellis and Curtis yesterday, he's doing this new series on Barstool called Frank Walks. And he did one with Mike Francesa. Like his second episode is with Mike Francesa. And I saw a quote tweet that said Frank got out 3 words in 58 minutes.
Dude, I believe that. I believe that. Man, that's awesome. By the way, LSU just won 11-8, so a little dicey there. So there's another.
Some of the top teams in the country getting a little scare, coming out unscathed.
Yeah, it's baseball, man. It's baseball. So, but thank goodness it was in Baton Rouge though when this game was getting played. Somebody's gonna end up on a T-shirt down there or whatever for talking about stories and doing things.
National news.
Yeah, national news of. It's like all that.
That didn't happen in Baton Rouge.
Congratulations on doing time already, I guess.
Yeah. Who was the player? Was it I think it was a Bama player that actually ended up. He was from Louisiana, And I don't know if you guys, I got to remember who this guy was. It was a few years ago. He had a gun in his car, and he got pulled over in Louisiana. It was in the off season. And everyone was like, oh, man, it's like to have a gun in your, and it wasn't his. It's like, but apparently to have a gun in your possession because he was under the age of 21, or maybe he was a recruit and he was under 18, something to that extent. It was like where anybody else gets that, you're like going to jail. And I remember that they released him, and like a small town, like judge or whatever was just brought up now the fact that these kids are out there, in the heat without air conditioning, getting conditioned to, play football, and like all, it's just something ridiculous. And I'm like, that, like, if there's not a privilege when it comes to athletes and all that, like I thought that was the most absurd thing. Ah, man, I wish I could remember his name. It wasn't the guy who was talking about Brandon Chicken. I think you guys probably remember that story with Brandon Chicken in Alabama. But okay, so let's just take this another turn, because apparently we are awful people according to Christian, but that's okay. What is the craziest criminal college story that you remember? Like, to me, I think there's one that's extremely obvious to me, but I don't know if like one that just pops up in the first of your head of like a criminal. It could be alleged, it could be anything, but just something that was dealing outside of sports. Because to me, the Jerry Sandusky deal at Penn State was pretty insane.
I mean,
that was
wild.
nuts. I was gonna say the Larry Nasser thing.
Yeah, that was a mess
And
too.
I was thinking about the Baylor deal.
Yes, that's a huge one
with Bryles, and also was it Dave Bliss when the basketball program when Dave Bliss was there? I mean, they made a whole HBO doc out of that.
Yeah, whole thing was crazy.
Because what year was that with Dave Bliss? 03 or something, or was it even sooner than that, or later than that? Because the player got killed, right? Wasn't he murdered?
Yeah.
So that was a wild deal.
I think I'm like 80% sure that I've covered a college basketball game with Dave Bliss on one of the benches. When I was down in Fort Smith, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I think I remember this right. I was covering high school sports in Fort Smith for the Times Record, and every now and then when I wasn't covering high schools, they would send me to do UFAS basketball games, and I think UFAS played the team that he was coaching at the
Southwest
time,
Christian
which is
in Oklahoma.
Very well could have been.
Wow.
We played against them.
There's a connection there. There's a connection there. Holy crap. Well,
and I hadn't even seen the disgrace doc at the time, so I was just,
kind of
that was a crazy one. The whole Sandusky thing was nuts.
Sandusky thing, and maybe we should have quantified it, because that one may not count in the way, because it was so far. It was a horrible thing. So I'm not. Don't misunderstand, but it was just happened years prior, like where it just had come out later. And I do remember just the wild. Nobody really knew what to think of it, because then you had the deal with Joe Paterno, who was, Joe Paterno was beloved by everyone in the college football landscape, like even outside of Penn State. Dude was iconic. And he's just old, I felt like, because at the time he's like in mid-80s. And then they asked him about it, and he just gave bad answers, just awful answers about it.
Right.
And it just kind of kept spiraling out of control. Then the students came out, and they started rioting because they were firing Joe Paterno. That, to me, was a wild few weeks of just crazy updates and something disgusting and horrible, and just never anything that you'd ever dream would be happening. And Penn State, and I remember it was so dumb that in the NCAA gave a postseason ban to Penn State for 4 years or something like that. I was like, what are y'all doing? And it's go away, NCAA. This has nothing to do with you. I remember they did that, then they lessened it and all that. But that, to me, was one of the craziest stories with Sandusky and Penn State. But the Baylor one was crazy too, because it kept building. It kept being it started with a couple, and then it was 18, and then being 25. It just kept building there. And isn't it crazy too that both those programs have rebounded so greatly from that, though? I'm not saying, not trying to make light of it, but I kept thinking, I was like, man, that's going to destroy that program. It's going to destroy Penn State, going to destroy Baylor. Now, and they're still going strong and still bouncing back. But yeah, those were some crazy ones. The Brandon Miller one was just wild for.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, that one I still will never forget, because of how disappointed I was with how everybody was like, this is horrible and this is bad, but yet the Alabama Tuscaloosa media fans, staff, coaches, everyone in that Crimson Tide family were all like, I don't understand what you got. I don't understand. Like, it wasn't his gun. You know, he didn't he didn't shoot him. You know, you're not gonna arrest a guy delivering drugs to another guy, are you? It's like, no, you are, because a murder took place with that weapon. But the fact that it was just like, I don't know, what do you guys? It's not even that big of a deal. What are you guys talking about? That's what to me was the craziest part of it, was the reaction.
I remember that story coming out. Maybe it was early in a week, like a Monday or a Tuesday or something like that. And Bama played a midweek at South Carolina, and it was last year. So South Carolina wasn't that good, but the fact that Brandon Miller was coming in that building made people come out, and I remember being so locked in on that game, watching it, just because I just simply could not believe that he was playing in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was like, I kept waiting on when's the pressure finally going to get to him?
Yeah. And then he
played
villain.
Dude, he got
that game
48.
went absolutely nuts.
I remember that
overtime game, and he was hitting daggers, big shots, and it was one of the more bizarre sports watching experiences I think I've had, because I'm like, it's a great game.
Yeah,
he's having a phenomenal night, but like
he shouldn't be playing.
Should he even be playing?
He shouldn't be playing.
No, it was just bizarre. It was bizarre. That's like the best word that I've got for it.
Yeah, it was a time where I just didn't know. I felt like I knew what was right and what was the right move, but then I was like, I kept thinking I was the crazy one, because nobody there at Bama was just kind of wrong place, wrong time from Nate Oates. And then even after that South Carolina game, I remember he said something else that was really dumb about it, and then he had to apologize for that comment again. And then the AD was just like, hey, we're letting the legal system take place, and we talked to the authorities, and they said nothing. I was like, of course they did. Of course they weren't going to do anything against the prize possession, Brandon Miller, NBA draft lottery pick that's going to be the make or break for your great season. Of course not.
And they caught all the heat about the pat down.
Yes.
Oh my
God,
in the intros of the starting lineups.
Like, how tone deaf are you, man?
Yeah. Yeah, but they're like, he does it every game. So what?
So stop it.
So stop doing it.
Probably a good time to stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, that was an insane deal, and there was still, and the fact that nothing happened, still to this day, nothing happened. Not a suspension, and and it's crazy because the only reason people even found out that he was involved was because of the affidavit that was put out from the legal system. Like, if that wasn't public record where people saw it, Alabama was like, man, nothing about it. It's fine. It's whatever. So that may have been the most recent one that got me fired up too, because I'm like, how is this okay? And I don't even care. And everyone's like, oh, you're saying because you're Arkansas. I was like, no. If it was an Arkansas guy, I'm like, I don't want you on my team if you're delivering guns to another guy where a murder takes place. Or at least not even suspend, not even do anything. Just keep going. It's fine. It's whatever. No, it's all fine. We're fine. How are you? You're doing good? Like, no. That's terrible.
Crazy, man.
So there's been a lot of those stories, especially in college sports, which are very sad.
Do you remember when we were in Vegas and Bama was playing?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep.
Who was it? San Diego State that put them out?
Yep.
Every time, like, it was 99% San Diego State in Circa.
Dude. Everyone was rooting against
Everybody
him.
was just like, F Brandon Miller, F Nate Oates. I hope they lose by 1 million. Like, everybody was in San Diego State's corner. It was a time.
Yeah. And it's like San Diego State's probably like, man, nobody even knows who we are, but they were rooting for us. Same with South Carolina that night. After everyone was rooting for South Carolina Gamecock basketball that night. I think it was like an 8 p.m. game on the SEC network. That was probably their most watched game that year, was that South Carolina game after the Brandon Miller situation.
Definitely that.
So, I feel like the security in South Carolina's arena got heightened that night. You just do you
remember
two? Never know.
Do you remember the two? Was it in Nashville, where all the SEC coaches got asked after their games about their gun policies? Was that in
Nashville?
Yeah.
Yep,
I remember being in that press conference. I'm like what?
Yeah,
Come on, man! Like this, me and Bob Holt, I think, were the only Arkansas media members there from us, and it was after they beat Auburn, and great shot by Nick Smith, by the way. But they beat Auburn, and then they got two questions about the game and how epic and everything. And just second one was like, hey, what are your policies on guns? And then Muss was like, yeah, we follow the campus policy on guns, which is no guns on campus.
Yeah, that was from. I remember that. That was from I believe it was Joseph Goodman with AL.com. I think he was just, I mean,
yeah,
that's such a major story. And people from outside the state of Alabama, where that, like, I mean, he's localizing stuff, but he's making like a local story and just kind of branching out to, like, you know, whatever, you know, these SEC programs are doing too, just to see how they compare maybe. I mean, I get that people are probably like, it's really weird, but I mean, he was asking for a reason. Like, he was, you know.
Yeah, I just
it was
thinking
like,
it was funny.
to say it wasn't weird would be a lie, but just because of the time and place. But when else is he going to get Eric Musselman?
I just thought it was like, I don't know. Like, I figured you could just email the SID and be like, hey, I'm doing this story on this. Can I just get a statement on it?
Yeah.
I would think, but maybe he wanted to get him in the raw, like,
maybe
shocking
so, but I
deal.
think at that point in time, I think people, at least, like, you could think it's a weird question, and I'm not going to really disagree with you, but they understand why he's asking it if they understand that he's, you know, working for AL.com.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm not a journalist. I don't know. But every time, it's the same thing at SEC Media Days in football. When this one guy asked this, I get it, you're doing a story. But when it's if I had a nickel for every time that guy asked about the stipend that players were getting and money-wise, I'm just like, dude, like, I get it. But just, it's like you're using your question on asking something that they give all the same answer. They're all giving the same answer to it. It's like, but I get it.
How are you handling your taxes with this new NIL thing?
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Between
Do you do your own taxes, or is your mommy doing it? Or
do you use QuickBooks? You on QuickBooks on the software? Do you do it that way?
Imagine asking JD Note about doing his taxes. Good thing Jalen Williams is up there with it, man.
I forgot about that.
Like, bro, just say your mom doing it.
Man, that's.
Oh gosh,
I got to do okay.
Good times.
I know we got to get to our final segment here on the show. But first, folks, here on Natty State Sports, across all of our content and the John Nabors Show, of course, Manscaped is one of our favorite sponsors on here because, listen, we know that Valentine's Day is officially over, and you're probably still needing you guys out there you want to keep that grooming up because maybe your lady friend was like, ooh, I like the new look with all the Manscaped goods that you got going on. So you want to keep it going. You want to keep it up. Or maybe your friends told you about it. You're like, hey, it's a game changer. She loved it. Well, get your own today. If you go to manscaped.com and use promo code NATTY, you get 20% off. That's right, 20% off, as well as free shipping whenever you use promo code NATTY. That's NATTY. And they have so many different things to choose from, especially the new 5.0 trimmer that they have, which does it all. And it's great. Use it myself. And you can check out all the great different products that they have, whether it is actual trimmers, nose clippers, and some deodorants, some lotions. They got it all. So check them out today. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code NATTY, NATTY, for 20% off and free shipping here on The John Nabors Show. We'll take our final break and get back to our final segment here on The John Nabors Show on Natty State Sports. So stay with us.
We not done yet either. So don't be satisfied. We not done.
I mean, honestly, I don't really remember post game. I guess I black out after games, winning and losing.
You missed it. You missed it. You missed the game. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go to it. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Best guys. I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now. And you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Hey, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking. Let's get rolling.
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Let's stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Nabors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
What a wild show here on the John Nabors Show as we enter into our final segment and getting into not only the final segment of today, but the final segment of the week. So we're excited and want to let everybody know, too, that we are doing a live stream of the show or the game tomorrow for Razorback basketball.
Tap in.
Woo. Hopefully it's entertaining.
It'll be fun.
Will be. But also, throw this in. Tuesday, 6 o'clock, Arkansas plays Texas A&M on the road. We're going to be live from Flyaway Brewing once again. Another Tuesday where we're going to do the live stream from there in Fayetteville. So looking forward to that. And I'm sure it'll go well, especially if this game against Mississippi State goes well, which it will. So, yeah.
We were talking about it before, like how electric it would be, you know, if one of these live streams that we did was actually a competitive game, one way or the other, you know.
Well, let's hope that this is the game. Like, if you're going to have one of the two, let's do the game that we're going to be at Flyaway to be an entertaining game too.
Yes.
Let's make that happen.
That'd be good.
Yeah, just once. Just once. Our live streams don't need to be so depressing all the time. But we just got a few minutes here, actually 12 minutes here, as we'll get you wrapped up for the weekend. And I wanted to bring this up too, just a little shout out. Caitlin Clark is now the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball. And she went crazy last night, too.
Before you get to this, Iowa fans, if you're listening, don't come at us. We're just talking about
the story.
Just talking about the story.
Just talking about the story. So she's had a lot of stuff go on, obviously, in her time. But, yeah, the fact that she was able to become the all-time leading scorer, that's saying something. I'm not saying I'm an aficionado in women's college basketball, but there's been a lot of iconic players that have come through the sport. And for her to do that is pretty impressive.
Did you see the way she did it? You know, like she needed 8 points
how many, was
coming
it
into the
48?
game. 49, yeah.
49?
She needed 8 points coming into the game. She scored the first 8 points. She she broke the record on like a 35-footer, you know, just like in transition, pull up three. She's incredible, man.
I respect it. Mm-hmm.
49 points in a game. And she's like, I think the first well, obviously she set the record for scoring, but she's like the first 3,000-point, 1,000 assist player. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Man. She's so good.
Yeah, and
it's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, and her, like, I don't even know. Again, I don't follow it enough, but Iowa's good. But I don't like. Was she a highly recruited player? I don't even know.
That's a good question. I don't know where she was as a recruit, but she is. She's the real deal now.
Yeah, she broke Kelsey Plum's record. And Kelsey Plum even said, congratulations on the record in your entire season. Appreciate what you do for the game. Much respect and love. See you at the next level, hopefully sooner rather than later. That's the right way to handle it instead of like whatever Cheryl Swoops or whatever she was talking about. Like, she ain't going to make it in the league. I was like, okay.
Right.
Like, why are you even bringing that up?
Oh, yeah. And that's what I love about this, too, is, you know, it's not an asterisk record. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she's played in an outrageous number of games or whatever. Like, she's just that good.
Yeah. And I wish people, like, again, I'm not trying to be preachy to stuff like this, but I am at least glad, I could go on a rant here, but I'm at least glad that they are doing it to where it's not an, NCAA record or whatever. It's like, because there is, it just drives me crazy. I don't want to start getting political here, but it drives me crazy whenever they will say if the all-time winningest coach in women's basketball happens to pass wins in men's basketball, they're saying, they're the all-time NCAA leader. It's like, no, they're two different sports.
Right.
Like, it's not one above the other. It's two different sports, and I've never understood why they do that. Mm-hmm. Like, if some girl scored 100 points in the game, it's like, she's the all-time NCAA leader. It's like, well, for women. But for men, they're two different sports. Like, I don't understand why that's such a thing. But not to go on a rant, but it's just something that I've always wondered, like, why they have to do it that way. But I'm glad they at least gave just credit where credit is due. It's for women's basketball. Her getting the record. It's pretty awesome, and she deserves it. She's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's
play.
big time.
She's been doing great for women's sports too. I don't care what anybody says. Like,
she has. Did you see
huge.
the other girl that set the rebounding record last night?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was Division II.
In a game or like all time?
In a game, she had. Guess how many rebounds she had in the game?
34.
44. 44 rebounds in a game, 30 defensive, 14 offensive. Yeah, Division II player.
Lord have mercy.
She's 5'11". She got 44
That's
rebounds
dumb.
in a game. Yeah, it's crazy.
Female Anderson Garcia.
Yeah.
I did have a buddy of mine who said women's college basketball, it's like if you want to win and be successful, just be tall. Like, it's not saying there's not taking anything away from their skill set, but just because of how there's just not a whole lot of tall women out there that are able to get rebounds like that. It's like, as long as you have just a couple of those, that you just are always going to get every rebound.
It's
and
like
offensive
South
rebounds.
Carolina last year, man.
Yeah. What was that margin? Like 39
It was crazy.
against
Yeah, it was like
Arkansas?
74 rebounds in a game. To
Just craziness
yeah,
there.
it's nuts, man.
Yeah. Another fun thing I wanted to bring up. How about this? A Delta flight was forced to turn around after maggots fell from the ceiling.
Oh.
Bro,
How does that happen?
What is going on with these airlines these days?
I wonder, is it just that we get more of the stories of them, or is it actually just more occurring than like has these things always happened? But either way, it was an hour after takeoff because maggots fell from the overhead compartment onto passengers sitting in the economy seats. Yeah, it couldn't be the first class.
Yeah.
Flight was transporting travelers from Amsterdam to Detroit, Michigan, when a passenger's suitcase containing rotting fish was in the overhead bin and opened up, resulting in maggots falling onto passengers and having to turn the plane.
Why did a passenger have rotting fish?
Never mind. That's not on the airline.
No, it's not on the airline. That's why I
That's
felt
right.
bad for the story. I was like, but at the same time, like, how do you not check that? How do you not see that
TSA,
stuff?
Though?
Yeah.
Like, sir, I'm sorry, but
You can't bring fish on.
You have fish in your bag.
Yeah, or did not people smell and they're like, man, what is that?
Yeah.
And
what do
hard-
we do?
There's nothing worse than
I'm
a
headed
fish
from
smell.
I'm heading from Germany to the U.S. I better pack up some sea bass for the trip. Like what are
And
you
how long was
doing?
it sitting out to get maggots on it? It's not like you just put it. If you would have taken it out of the fridge, put it in the suitcase, and went straight to the airport, there's no way maggots would have come onto there for it. So, oh my God! So it's like
silly, man.
I
Thank
can't
you
think
for
of
the
worse things
picture
to
of maggots,
imagine.
like we didn't know what they looked like.
Dude, imagine if they fell on you. Like, what would you do?
I'd lose it, man.
I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be. I'd never fly again. I hate flying as it is, but I'd never be able to fly again.
That's tough.
Yeah. This is also a great story, too. So a dart player storms off the stage and blames the loss on his rival for purposely farting and stinking up the entire arena.
That's competitive advantage.
I mean, that's gamesmanship.
Yeah,
right there.
Darren
exactly.
Webster is his name. And, yeah, he wasn't happy about he was up 3-0, and then he ended up losing 4-3. And then
That's
this was
on
his
you,
statement.
dude.
Well, when you play a guy who farts and stinks the stage out and denies it, and then kick you when you're playing the stall every throw because they're bleep good luck for the future. I can't read apparently, but I'm
This
not
is like
interested
some
in
of
the rant.
the things in the chat.
I know. I'm like, there's you guys are missing some words there. No punctuation or anything. But Darren Webster apparently was not happy with the guy farting on the stage and everything. So, but yeah,
That's awesome.
Here's the video of it apparently, where it got a little salty there. Yeah, nails it, and then I guess the ball guy's Webster. He's already looking not too happy. Shakes his hand, and he's like, "Nope, I'm done. You farted too much. You stink. I'm out." Like, that you talk about mental warfare, but I am very impressed by this dude.
Yeah.
He's even got it says the bomb on the back of his shirt,
Hey,
my man.
No, I'm all in on this guy. That's awesome, man.
I think that's a great tactic.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna be honest. If that's really what happened, and that's
Can
really
bet
how you
this guy
won,
on Saracen ever?
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna start looking him up.
I'm
Like, be
ready.
like,
I'm
dude,
ready. I'm ready to roll.
I'm deep in the darts community. So
This dude's gonna start stinking up stages and stuff. I hope he does. I hope he craps his pants like when he's literally throwing darts. And
I mean, if
I'm
you think
impressed.
about it, how else do you like gain an advantage in darts?
Yeah, if
How
you,
else do you do it?
you gotta
don't
break
let
your
you
opponent's
talk, I don't
focus.
think.
Yeah, like you both throw from the same spot. So yeah, if you crop dust that spot, that gives you an advantage that you otherwise did not have.
Yeah, and
It's not to say that he feels like he's, lesser of a player. He's just, I feel like I'm better than you, and if I crop dust this spot, then maybe I can get a second step on you.
Yeah.
And he did.
He did.
And he made the guy mad.
And he
That sounds like 3 dubs to me.
I think they should do a 30 for 30 on this guy. And
Agreed.
Just do a documentary on this dude. Like, I'm impressed. I'm gonna watch this guy. He's now got my attention. I'm gonna
What
watch
did
him in
you
his
say
career.
his name was?
Darren Webster.
Darren Webster.
Well, Darren Webster accused his opponent.
Okay.
Ron Mellencamp.
Mellencamp.
Yeah, right
Great
there.
name for a guy who farts a lot.
Yeah. Apparently, take. Okay, and also, how about this, Darren? If you blow a 3-0 lead because of gas, you're mentally soft.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we know why he wants to have farts around him and stinking up the joint. But if you can't, you blow a 3-0 lead,
the Doc Rivers of darts.
Yes, the Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
of
Okay.
darts.
And so if you had a 3-0 lead, and this is your excuse, like how backed up was this man?
That's a long, because that's a long time.
That's a long time.
And do they? I don't think it's like darts where you just go to the local pub where you can just, eat nachos the entire time. Because those are my types of sports, like bowling, pool, darts. You can eat bar food and drink and then still be able to. So I don't think they're doing that in the professional leagues.
No, man. And I feel like even if I was in a bad spot, I wouldn't be able to do that on command, and not,
Yeah,
drop a load on myself there. So I mean, he's a master darter. I think that's what they call him, and he also has great sphincter control. I mean,
is he a master farter?
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Now we're cooking with gas. And then finally, just the last one here, because I don't know, I'd probably use this more for Ellis because I know he's a fan, but it's always not really a good sign. This Madam Web movie that everyone's already criticizing looks terrible, which it does. But Dakota Johnson plays in it, and apparently she has no plans to see it.
Same.
Yeah, me neither. I feel like you're probably not the only one.
The word on the street from Ellis was that it's like a Marvel movie without the Marvel budget.
Sounds like a feel-good hit of the summer to me. Yeah, because this is apparently this awkward cut makes it look like Dakota Johnson is rushing to the car to save Dakota Johnson, who's already in the car. So this is a fun thing, like right here.
Hi, sir. All right, I'm gonna cut your.
So that was the cut, and that was an actual scene from the movie.
Yeah.
That ain't it. That ain't it. So yeah, apparently for those of you who are thinking about watching this movie, just be on the lookout because it's
Might
probably
not
gonna be
the one
trash.
for you.
Are gonna be trash. So all right, fellas, before we get out of here, big plans this weekend. What are we doing? Other than watching a game?
Yeah, I'm gonna be right here and be a part of the live stream for the Mississippi State basketball game. Catch the end of the baseball game, and then me, Ellis, and whoever else feels so inclined are going to get together and watch the big UFC card Saturday night. I haven't thought beyond that.
Who's playing or fighting? I guess not playing. Fighting. I don't even know.
Well, Alexander Volkanovski's in the main event, which is a big one.
The guy who dressed up like a grandfather.
That's right. You got Paulo Costa, who is a very, very funny personality. You got Ian Gary, who is a very questionable man who is married to a wag. And you got Mackenzie Dern, who is a looker.
Good. That's
so
good.
There you go.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Scotty, what about you?
Yeah, live stream. I don't know if I'll be able to join for the UFC stuff. I would love to. Maybe TBD on that.
Okay.
Sunday, I don't know.
I haven't thought that far ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing either. So
I might go to the baseball game Sunday.
Yeah.
Weather pending.
Yeah.
Weather pending. Yeah. I mean, if it's fine for me, I'm good. I need to do some baseball. I need to watch some baseball. I need to see winning in person.
Yes.
For a change, because it's been a while. So even Arkansas football, I think I only watched 2 games that they won. No, 1 game. That was the first game in Little Rock. That was the only game I watched in person. That's right. Only time I watched a game in person that won. And in basketball, I've seen some, but it's been a while. So yeah, see some wins. Be some good stuff.
It's time. On the comeback.
It's time. All right. Well, in that case, appreciate everybody listening in to the John Nabors Show here on the Natty State Sports Network. For Curtis Wilkerson and Scotty Borderland, I am your host, John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Next Monday, prepare for the live stream, folks. It's going to be a good one. We'll talk to you next Monday, so have a great weekend.